So I'm actually standing on Omaha Beach, right here. It's Omaha Beach sand right there. I'm actually at a loss for words. Um, yeah, I'm standing on Omaha Beach. I can show you, I'm looking up at where the cemetery is above me. I'm looking at Point de Hawk. Let me just turn it around. So Point de Hawk is right there. It's Point de Hawk Cemetery. There's one of the monuments sticking up right about there. Sun setting. Very recreational beach, actually. It's just one of those things I just wanted to take my time. Now, of course, it's evening time. It's not 6:30 in the morning, so the reference of the tide and the museums I've been going to, which I went to 3 today, a little bit overwhelming. But as the museums will reference, it was a combination of when the tide was in and out, what vehicles, what surface vessels, naval vessels, what were their loads and what would be the best applicable time to come in. The element of surprise, the illumination of the moon with the airborne drops, all this was trying to be taken into consideration. So although I'm have an appreciation for me being here, it's not like when I was at Pearl Harbor at the moment that the Japanese came in, when I went on that tour, and then the other night or the other day when I was at the early morning back at, I think it was Gold Beach. Let me turn the camera on. I'm going to show you some things. So this is my last full day. I've had 3 full days here. So there's Point de Hawk. And then I'm going to pull back a bit. The cemetery is right in that vicinity, right where those tree line breaks. Is where the cemetery is, or it starts. There are some markers here where the cemetery beginning is. There's a little trail up there. When I was up at the cemetery, I was looking down at this area and I was wondering how people got down here. There's some more memorial markers. But it's been a great trip overall. 3 days. I mean, you're not going to be able to get. It depends on what your priorities are. You can go to museums. You can go to the sites where these things took place. Combination of both. I did a combination of both. I went to some notable sites, and I've been to a lot of museums. The museums are great because, one thing they do about their museums here that I wanted to tell you all is that a couple of unique things. Number one, they do a really good job on incorporating personal stories, and their artifacts, a lot of them are personal. They'll have the person's name. They'll have their equipment, their helmet, their stuff stitched in it. They'll have a story next to it. Apparently there are times where veterans, when they got into their 50s, 60s, 70s, they were sending stuff back here with their like the little autobiography of what they did here. So you're looking at things that were actually used in battle here from December 6th on. That actually were used here. Some stuff is all rusted. Some of it was excavated. It's all personal. Not all. I take that back. Many items were personal and were assigned to people. And there was another aspect that just eludes me right now. They do a really good job on full-size mannequins and the dioramas. Unbelievable. I think if you're a historian or if you're a museum curator, you can actually come to these museums and learn a lot simply about how to display certain items. But it does get a little bit overwhelming. Something else I keep forgetting to mention is a lot of times when you take tours or you hear people speak, a lot of times they will use the word Nazis or German army, not the Germans. And they don't, this is what I have taken away from that, is that they do not associate 100% of the population of Germany as the ideology of Nazism. So when they say things, especially when it comes to dealing with the concentration camps, they will use the term Nazi. When they use this invasion aspect, they'll say this is the German army and this was the Allied forces. And I think that's important to remember. Not everyone who put on the German uniform signed up to the ideology of Nazism. take it from there. You know, the museums do a really good job on flow also. So I've enjoyed a lot. I've been to a lot of the key museums. Of course, I haven't been to all of them. I'll come back to the States and someone said, you were right there and you did not go to such and such museum. It's like, I can't. You know, I've been to a handful. And not only that, in a 3-day time, it starts to get information saturation. And it doesn't matter if you went to 3, 5, you get to 6 and 7. It's one big museum. I just saw something interesting to do. I'm gonna actually walk from the water line here. I'm gonna walk from this water line. A little bit of break here, but if you think about it, I'm just trying to put myself, and like I said, it's hard to reference without the tide being correct. But there it is, and I can imagine the landing crafts, say if this was the right amount of tide, the landing crafts would be a little bit buoyant. They'd be out in the water, so they're waiting at the best knee deep in water, at the best knee deep. If not, they're trying to swim in. So knee deep, wading through water with all that gear, fully clothed with boots, walking across this flat area, which is probably strewn with tank traps, landmines, whatnot. And then you're coming up to this berm, and they still got to get up that hill. You see people hiking up it right now. So I would imagine that this one break right here probably would have been a good area to duck your head. Oh man, without any gear, this is a hard trek. So then you come up to this point, and now you're over this little bit of a hump. Looking back at where you just come from, you come over this hump, and now you got this other open terrain. Oh, and there's conveniently located, I'm pretty sure that's a gun emplacement I'm looking at. I'm pretty sure that's a gun emplacement, or what used to be one. So can you imagine that, thinking you're safe? Seriously, I just came over this. I walked right in the fire, right in the line of fire. Now I got to go through here, and that's about 50, 60 yards. Then there's another hill. So yeah, it's been many years I wanted to come out here. So I'm glad I did. 3 days was good. It's been relaxing. I pushed it today. Probably shouldn't have done as many museums as I did. But I've got to, getting back to the hotel tonight, checking out my bags. I leave tomorrow for Munich. I got, I think, 3 full days in Munich, and then I fly home on August 31st. So I'm at the very tail end of my time here, my 3 months in Europe. All right, well, that's all I wanted to share with you. I've been to spend time physically on the sands of Gold Beach, on the sands of Utah Beach, and now sands of Omaha. I'm just going to sit there for a while and absorb it. All right, have a good night.